You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, talk about burying the lead. No Tatum, no KP, no Jrue Holiday. Forget about it. If you had Pritchard and White going off for the Celtics Wednesday night at home against Portland, hey, we got to play the lottery together. Derrick White, Payton Pritchard, outstanding. Celtics now 2-1 on their homestand. We welcome you into our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime college hoops play-by-play announcer, former show host, satellite radio and ESPN radio, and Danny Ainge, yes, indeed, was one of my favorite Celtic players growing up when I first started paying attention to NBA hoops. Yes, Danny Ainge also played baseball as well. You are right where you need to be on this Wednesday. You are locked on with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. We are providing reaction to every Celtics game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as a Locked On Celtics podcast feed, which you know is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. With our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're talking about Payton Pritchard. We're talking about Derrick White. We're talking about both just absolutely going off against the Portland Trailblazers. If the Trailblazers could have played any defense, they did get it to within 3 possessions after they were down 25 in the fourth quarter. We might be talking about a different game. They can hit shots. They just did not defend, and the Celtics, again, White and Pritchard leading the way. We do want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit that comment button and join the Celtics conversation. Subscribe to the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. That supports us. And you can also follow me on the X at Lennox on Hoops with questions, comments, or concerns. So, like I said, thin bench. 3 starters out of the starting lineup against a Portland team that's had a really good road trip so far. No Jayson Tatum. No Jrue Holiday again. No Kristaps Porzingis again. Holiday continues to deal with the finger issue, and Porzingis and Tatum both out without an illness, and both right now you're wondering what's going on with KP. Again, if you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit the comment button and join the conversation with us. Celtics win their second in a row, 2-1 on this current homestand, back-to-back nights now against Portland and the Philadelphia 76ers on Thursday as well. But the Celtics pick up the win. And the first quarter kind of gave you an idea of what kind of night it was going to be. Or at least you were thinking, hey, go for a big night. And I've said that before with Tatum and Brown. I don't know that I've ever said it with Derrick White or Payton Pritchard. But as they got going, White had 24 at the half and had knocked down 6 threes in the first 24 minutes. Pritchard, 18 at the half, 4 threes and 12 in the first quarter, 1 of 4 and 6 points in the second quarter. But you're thinking, okay, let's see those guys carry the night. And they really did. They just absolutely were terrific in leading the Celtics. And I'll tell you what, they were fun to watch. But as Portland got close in the fourth quarter, again, they got it single digits. I'm thinking it's Jaylen Brown's time. But no, White and Pritchard just kept going. Derrick White's final line, 39-plus minutes, 14 of 26 from the field, 9 of 17 on threes, 4 of 4 at the line, and 41 points. Pritchard off the bench. Pritchard is not going to start a game this season. That's not a headline. That's not breaking news. That's not fake news. He's just not going to start. And to be eligible for the Sixth Man of the Year award, you can start a certain number of games. He hasn't started a single game this year. Pritchard off the bench. Ready? 14 of 20. You already know it if you watch the game. 14 of 20 overall. 10 of 16 on the three-point line. Perfect 5 of 5 at the free throw line. 43 points. Oh, yeah, double-double, 10 rebounds. And he also managed to pick up the assists as well, as he had 5 assists. 4 of his 10 rebounds on the offensive boards. I don't know how, as an NBA opponent, you can allow Payton Pritchard anywhere near the offensive glass. Portland put up 118, shot 46.4% overall. The Celtics No, I'm sorry, wrong side. The Celtics were 45 of 97 overall, shot 46.4% from the field. I know I'm hitting you with numbers here. More numbers tonight, segment number 3, coming up later on. But Portland as a team, 16 of 40 on the three-point line. A lot of those threes in the second half, and they were 50%, 45 of 90 overall. So Portland, if they had gotten stops at any point, and they outscored the Celtics in the fourth quarter, ended up, 20-point deficit at the start of the fourth quarter. They outscored them by 10, and a 10-point victory for the Celtics, 128-118. But never, ever found a way to stop either Derrick White or Payton Pritchard. And good for the both of them. Let's get right into your comments here. Earlier than normal, at least a minute or two. Got to get better on my end. PK Tattoos first in. Pritchard, White, having fun out there. And Walsh showed some great defense. Yeah, Walsh, when he got out there and his three-pointer in the third quarter put the Celtics over 90, and there was still a lot of time in that third quarter. They went over 90, they went over 100 through three quarters. That'll be part of numbers of the night later on as well. But Walsh, yeah, he's just that next guy. You know he's going to get some minutes. But yeah, he defends, and he's an energy guy. I hate saying it that at this point, but that's what he is. He's got and Brian Scalabrine working with Mike Tirico, first NBC Sports Boston reference of the night. They were terrific together, and you knew they would be, right? I really like Jrue Carter. Mike Tirico, national stage, ESPN, NBC now for many years. Mike Tirico, Jrue Carter, both Syracuse guys, all of that different stuff. It was just a different listen, but it was a local broadcast as well. We've had a lot of national broadcasts. There's going to be more through the end of the regular season for the Celtics. Then you get into it during the playoffs as well. But, Scalabrine was sort of talking about, the Celtics needing to do certain things with the game. I was going to get into that in segment number 2. But Walsh just brought it. I mean, a short bench, right? And the way Pritchard and White were going, Joe Mazzulla was not going to go away from those guys. They just weren't. And there was a comment in the pregame open where Brian Scalabrine was talking about the Stay Ready group. They caught some heat against Cleveland for not showing up. It feels like that game was a month ago now. It was just last Friday. And I have no problem with the bench catching heat because the Celtics bench is a big part of their success. And Walsh did a nice job. He does a nice job a majority of the time. And now you're at the part in the season where Walsh is going to do something positive for you in a playoff game. Maybe one playoff game per series. He's going to come in and he's going to have a positive effect on the game. But Jordan Walsh, 20-plus minutes, knocked down that 3. It was only his only 3 of the game, but 6 rebounds, ended up with 3 personal fouls, had a block shot, and 3 offensive rebounds, 3 defensive rebounds. That's a great Jordan Walsh. You'll take that line from him. Again, a little extra minutes. Joseph, very fun game. It was. And, different than any game this season. NBA record, 2 teammates for the first time ever hitting 9 or more threes in a game. Mike Tirico had the line about both hitting for 40. But I didn't rewind it. And I didn't go back to figure it out. Pritchard, 43, White with 41. It might be the first time in Celtics team history. I don't want to go too far down that road right now because I did not catch it at the end as I was trying to get ready. Michael checking in. So happy for Derrick White and Payton Pritchard, right? But Joe needs to trust the players they signed. Boston, get these players and they don't play a single minute. What's up with that? Michael, who are you referring to? Because I'll say, the guys that come off the bench, again, at this point in the season, it's going to be tighter rotation. You are getting ready for the playoffs, and it's going to be a tight rotation. If you have Porzingis and Holiday ready to go as starters, then you're going to have Kornet, Pritchard, Hauser, and Horford. There's the 4 on any given night. How much deeper do you want to go on the bench right now? Tillman's not going to play. Tillman has not played a whole heck of a lot since the turn of the calendar. So, Michael, if you've got another player in there, again, Michael, happy for White, happy for Pritchard. Joe needs to trust the players they signed. Boston gets these players, and they don't play a single minute. What's up with that? Again, Michael, just give me who you're referencing right there, because I'm not sure, because Mazzulla does use his bench. Does he use it the same way every night? No, but you're not playing the same team every night as well. Joseph back in there. Worried about Sam Hauser having a bad year with injuries. Any update on his ankle? Yeah, and he hobbled off there as well late in the game. Scalabrine had made mention of it. I think he's just he's playing through, early on in the year it was the back. He's had some different things going on. So it might just be a year where he's never even close to 95%, let alone 100%. I don't know if they, not that he was forced to play or anything, not that, hey, I got to play because we got 3 starters out. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I'm not on the inside. None of us are. But it just seems Hauser, again, when he was out with the back, I was cautious, because back issues don't go away without extended rest. I'm not talking a week or 2. And he's never had that. So now lower leg, that back, it kind of goes both ways sometimes, where if you've got a back issue, all of a sudden you end up with something in the lower half. If you've got something with the lower half, all of a sudden you're favoring a leg. That can turn into a back issue as well. I'm not trying to play a doctor here on our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, but Hauser just seems right now like that guy who, we're never going to know the extent of how much he's hurting. Every NBA player, every professional athlete plays at some level with some tolerance when it comes to the pain. Right? So where Hauser is right now, I'm not sure. But in the playoff series, yeah, I mean, this is not going to miraculously just go away for Sam Hauser. Holiday's, again, there's not necessarily a timeline, but Jrue Holiday has talked about the injury in the last handful of days. I think it was after Sunday's game where he talked about it, and the reporters had that in their stories and stuff. I read the Boston Globe story, and, it seems like it's going to be a while for Jrue Holiday. And, it was the right shoulder impingement. Now it's the finger. And that finger, again, we're talking about a finger. Yeah, you're talking about a finger. But that can be just a pain in the neck injury. It's not going to heal itself overnight. It's not going to be better by Saturday's Laker game at TD Garden. And it's going to be the threshold, what he can deal with and still be effective on the floor. Because once you commit to being on the floor, that injury doesn't get pushed aside, but you've got to be able to perform. That's it on injuries for now. Rain, PP was balling. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Again, in that fourth quarter, as Portland was drawing closer, I really thought Brown is going to make this into, they're going to put it on his shoulders. No, it was White and it was Pritchard from the get-go. And it was Pritchard in the first quarter, down 3 starters. It was Pritchard in for White at the first sub for Joe Mazzulla in that first quarter as well. So the Celtics pick up the victory, up 5 after 1, up 11 at the half, led by 20, and at 102 points through the first 3 quarters, end up winning by 10. Celtics have won 2 in a row, back to 26 games over 500. That is the high water mark so far this season. 2-1 on the current homestand, 13-7 now against the Western Conference. And now 5 straight victories against Portland as well. Celtics win it by 10. Portland got close. I did not want to see. I don't think it ever became a 2-possession game in that fourth quarter. But as Portland got close, Derrick White and Payton Pritchard, they were providing the answers. It's like they had the answers to the test. It's like they had the entire SAT memorized, and they were ready to go from the jump. And they were both outstanding. As Rain said, fun night and fun game to watch for the Celtics. Coming up, more Mike Tirico and Brian Scalabrine notes and more of your comments as well. Hit that comment button. Glad you're with us Wednesday night, talking Celtics on the Locked On Celtics postcast right here on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Also available via the podcast wherever you get your podcast as well. Locked On Celtics postcast, Locked On Sports Boston, your team, your Celtics every day. We are presented by Open Phone. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customer calls day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal number. That's where Open Phone comes in. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. For just $15 a month, the cost of a few coffees, a few, not many, you get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It also uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, so you will have a rundown of your calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. Right now, OpenLine is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, that is openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. openphone.com/LockedOnNBA for 20% off 6 months. openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. Hitting you over the head with that. If you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Again, for 20% off your first 6 months, hit up openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, keep the comments coming. Mike Tirico, Brian Scalabrine on the Celtics broadcast on NBC Sports Boston Wednesday night. It'll be, I think it's a TNT game. Yeah, it's 7:30 start against the Sixers on Thursday. Another back-to-back for the Celtics. And, Portland entered at 28-34. But they entered Wednesday's matchup at TD Garden 4-1 on their current trip. Their only loss, a tough one, as they took the Cavaliers to overtime on Sunday. They beat the Sixers on Monday, and now they wrap up against Oklahoma City on Friday. Going to be curious to see how Portland plays it out. And Mike Tirico said, hey, it's a team right now, 4-1 on this current 7-game road trip. There are other Western Conference teams who still have to come east one more time. So they're at the 28-35, 7 games under 500. But can they get to that 10th spot and in the play-in as well? It'll be interesting to see. Scalabrine, Scal talking about the Blazers before the game, big, strong, athletic, tenacious, and they attacked the rim. Well, they did a lot of things well. And Mike Tirico, I think, is the one who mentioned it. They defend the three-point line well. Well, they didn't necessarily do that against the Celtics on Wednesday night as the Celtics knocked down 23 threes. They were 23 of 54 and about 5.5 attempts over their season average of right around 49. But Portland got into it with the three-pointer, 16 of 40 on the three-point line. Want to see the assist totals, 19 assists. I thought that number would be bigger for Portland. And for the Celtics, 24 assists, as Pritchard had 5 and Jaylen Brown had 8. Brown, you look at the shot attempts. White had 26. Brown had 23. And Pritchard had 20. Jaylen Brown was just 7 of 23. This isn't a game where you want to nitpick that Jaylen Brown went 7 of 23 and missed on all 4 three-point attempts, and Sam Hauser was 1 of 8 on the three-point line. It's more about Pritchard and White. And burying the lead, as I started off our Locked On Celtics postcast, of you were playing without 3 starters. You need these, again, illness, finger issue for Jrue Holiday. I'm sure we'll get some sort of update. I don't know that we get the full story on Kristaps Porzingis missing extended time here with what is an illness. But, that's where it's at right now. I'm going to scoreboard watch, and I'm not looking at the Eastern Conference, but I just want to see if Cleveland's win streak came to an end. Yeah, it did. No, it did not. They extend their win streak, I believe now 12 in a row. Cleveland winning at home 112-107 against the Miami Heat. Other games of note, Minnesota won on the road in Charlotte. Dallas, they just continue to lose players, and right now losing big on the road against Milwaukee. That game is early on in the fourth quarter as well. A couple of games late of note. OKC on the road at Memphis, and Denver home against Sacramento. That game is now in the second quarter. I try not to do too much scoreboard watching, but I'm going to caution you, it's going to happen more as we get closer and closer to April and the end of the regular season as well. So that's a live update. Apologize to our podcast crew. Hey, by the way, we're getting close to 3,000 per show the last couple of weeks on the podcast, on the Locked On Celtics podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. So thank you very much for that. Back-to-back nights. Going to hit a break here in just a moment, but I'm going to try to watch it on Thursday. But back-to-back nights, if you're with us on Thursday and you've watched Celtic City, the HBO original documentary series, which premiered on Monday, trailer, terrific. I'm going to watch episode 1 either late Wednesday night here or sometime Thursday to be ready to go for the Sixers game and our Locked On Celtics postcast following the Sixers-Celtics game on Thursday night. If you've got thoughts on that, hit me up on the X, at Lennox on Hoops, with your comments on it. We'll share them here on the Locked On Celtics postcast as well. Or you can just wait till Thursday night to do that as well. Comments. The new guys. Michael checking in. Yeah, no Torrey Craig, if that's the guy you want to mention. The Real Darrell checking in. What happened Saturday against the Lakers? The Real Darrell, we're going to hit that next. Thank you for that little promo and segue into our third and final segment right here, Locked On Celtics postcast. Thanks, The Real Darrell. Steve Lennox with you, Locked On Celtics postcast, Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day. Keep the comments coming. And we are sponsored by BetterHelp. Who's in your support system? We all need people to lean on, whether it's friends, family, mentors, or professionals. Even the strongest leaders and athletes know that asking for help makes them better. Therapy is one of the best ways to build a strong support system. It's not just for tough times. It helps with setting boundaries, developing coping skills, and becoming the best version of yourself. Learning to ask for help, hey, I know it firsthand. How valuable it is to have that support system that keeps you grounded and motivated. Everyday benefits. Hey, with therapy, it's not just about the crisis moments that we encounter day to day, week to week, year to year. It's a tool for self-improvement, stress management, and navigating life's challenges. Convenient and accessible, BetterHelp is fully online, making it easier than ever to connect with a licensed therapist from anywhere. With over 30,000 professionals available, you can find the right fit and switch anytime at no extra cost. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Celtics up by 20 at the start of the third quarter, end up beating the Portland Trail Blazers by 10, led by as many as 25. Now, the Real Darrell wrapped up second segment with what happened Saturday against the Lakers. The Real Darrell, shame. We don't look ahead. We're on, as Bill Belichick used to like to say, we're on to the next opponent. The next opponent is Thursday night, and it's the Philadelphia 76ers. Before you look at the Lakers on Saturday, you've got to finish up the regular season series against the Sixers on Thursday night at 3-1. That means a victory and a back-to-back for the Celtics. Now remember, Philly beat the Celtics. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the Celtics on Christmas night at the TD Garden. Celtics winning the next two, both in Philadelphia. Remember the big comeback they had in the second half in Philadelphia? That was a lot of fun. Yeah, the Celtics, the Lakers are playing well now. You're going to see, I mean, you're likely to see Luka. You're likely to see LeBron. LeBron is, hey, by the way, did you know that LeBron James has reached 50,000 career points? Regular season? Postseason? Okay. Is that an ESPN thing? I mean, can we talk about all the home runs that big league ball players hit regular season, postseason? No, it's always, now we're combining them. And in the future, I'm sure that's what we're going to do, to combine those numbers to make somebody look great. LeBron doesn't need help to look great. He's one of the all-time greats. You want to think he's the GOAT? Hey, there can only be one GOAT. the greatest of all time. That's debatable for another show. Yeah, the real Darrell. I really don't want to go down that road right now with that meet. You know what? We'll do that in just a few moments. Going back to Mike. Was Mike Tirico filling in? Yeah, and we mentioned that. He was in for Jrue Carter, who I would imagine had a ESPN assignment on Wednesday night or maybe Tuesday or Thursday. But yeah, Mike Tirico, I believe, filled in on the Sixers the other night, NBC Philadelphia and NBC Sports Boston with Scalabrine. Some people call him Scal. I call him Scal once in a while, even though I don't know him. Yeah, that was announced, and Scalabrine made mention of it, with Mike Tirico along those lines of, Scal knew it was a big deal because he was being told by the higher-ups at NBC Sports Boston a month ago that Mike Tirico would be filling in for Jrue Carter for the matchup against Portland in early March. So, yes, right there. Can confirm that was Mike Tirico. I don't know that he has another assignment with the Celtics for the rest of the regular season. Let's get into numbers of the night. Let's start with Derrick White. Derrick White, 9 threes, 41 points. Derrick White has been red hot from the three-point line of late. 4 more threes now, 11 times in the last 15 games. Derrick White now has 210 made threes on the season, and he has 34 threes over the last 6 games. Payton Pritchard. I wrote in the final lines, and I was way off because I had more to add. Pritchard, 10 threes, 10 of 16 on the three-point line, 43 points, career highs for Payton Pritchard in both those numbers. 20 or more points for the 19th time this season. The Celtics are 13-6 when he goes for 20 or more. They're now 1-0 when he goes for 40 or more. He's now hit 5 or more threes in a game 20 times this season. And for the 31st time in his career, he's knocked down 5 or more threes when coming off the bench for the Celtics. Jordan Walsh mentioned he hit the three that put the Celtics up 92-75 with under 4 to go in the third quarter. Celtics, 90 or more through 3 for the 30th time this season through their first 62 games. Celtics, 100 or more points now for the 7th time through their first 62 games, and it had been a while. And also up by 20 or more through 3 for the 16th time this year. First time ever 2 teammates hit 9 or more threes in a game. And yes, remember opening night when the Celtics were going for the record against the New York Knicks back in October? White was trying to get that 10th three. He knew where he was at. He ended up with 9, and that's perfectly fine because that was an outstanding number. Again, 26 games over 500. 44-18, 20 to go. 44-18 through the first 62 games of the regular season. Celtics have now won 12 of their last 15 games and 16 of their last 22. You can go even farther out and say they are 23-13 over their last 16 games as well. There was one more number in there I wanted to give you, and I don't know if I have it in here. Looking. If I don't have it in 4 seconds, the record for the Celtics when knocking down 20 or more threes has been terrific on the season as well. So the Celtics victorious. All right, the real Darrell. Let's get into the Lakers. Sixers, back-to-back Thursday, TD Garden. Again, Celtics lost to the Sixers on Christmas night in Boston, winning both meetings in February in Philadelphia. Lakers Saturday, Oklahoma City, or Lakers Saturday, then the Jazz and OKC wraps up the homestand next Wednesday at TD Garden. I don't know what you want to say about the Lakers right now, except that they're one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They really are. They've won 7 in a row, 13-15, 17-3 in their previous 20. And remember, they blew out the Celtics on what was the back end of a back-to-back for the Celtics against the Clippers and Lakers in Los Angeles a while back. But, yeah, the Lakers have been solid. They're home against the Knicks on Thursday. Then they come east, first of a 4-game road trip, and the first in Boston against the Celtics on Saturday night. And that's going to be a nationally televised game. The Lakers are going to have the Celtics, Nets in Brooklyn, Bucks in Milwaukee, and then to Denver against the Nuggets as well. So the real Darrell looking past Philadelphia, but not looking past Philadelphia. That matchup on Saturday, we are going to be with you within minutes of the final buzzer. On Thursday night, after the matchup, against the Sixers, and then again on Saturday with the matchup against the Lakers. The Celtics are going to be looking for a split against the Lakers in the regular season series. So again, we are going to be live with you within minutes of the final buzzer after the Sixers and the Celtics Thursday night. Hopefully Tatum's back. Hopefully KP's back. And hopefully we just see something different again. Because I don't know that we're going to see Pritchard and White lead the team, hitting 10 and 9 threes respectively, and both finishing with over 40 points. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. But again, Wednesday, a perfect indication of you just never know what's going to happen when they throw that ball up with the opening tip. That is going to do it for us. As always, we say thank you very much for all of your support. Don't forget, supporting our sponsors is supporting us as well. Tip of the cap to BetterHelp and Open Phone. As always, we do want to say thank you to you as well, who are with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Don't forget, podcast available wherever you get your podcast, and we do appreciate you making Locked On Celtics with John Corrales and the Locked On Celtics postcast your first listen every day. Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately following every game. Locked On Sports, Locked On Celtics, your team, your Celtics every day.